After 3 or 4 hours at Shifen, we decided to go to Shifen, and apologies in advance for butchering these names. Shifen is famous for the lanterns, and also it does have a waterfall that's nearby as well. Shifen's lanterns are unique because you can actually launch them yourselves. They allow tourists to write wishes on them, so that's why you see some writing on some of these lanterns. After writing everything, you then launch the lantern into the sky. The lanterns got a little bit close to the buildings, and considering they were in open fire, it looked kind of dangerous, but I'm not a fire safety expert. Either way, this area and activity is really popular with tourists. You can see lanterns being launched every minute. So before we came here, I was debating whether it was worth it to come to Shifen. In my opinion, it's still worth it to see, although I would prioritize Shifen for sure over Shifen if you could only see one. There is a way to take public transportation from Shifen to Shifen, but given our time constraints, we opted to take the Uber to save some time. Here we're actually walking out of the main part of Shifen and then going to the waterfall. Shifen itself is a much smaller town than Shifen, and you can see here this area is quieter than the area near the railroad tracks. That's because the main tourist attraction is the lanterns, and they're only launched by the railroad tracks. Decided to launch my drone here. This is actually after the waterfalls, but it made sense I think to show in this order. If you're not interested in drone shots, feel free to skip around 2 minutes ahead. So after passing by this area, we decided to continue on to the waterfall to see it before the sunset. The waterfall itself is only around a 15-minute walk from the station. You could take a Uber or a taxi there, but it doesn't get you very close to the waterfall, so it's much better to just walk. There's a cafe in this area which serves as the entrance towards the path of the waterfall. The walk itself is pretty pleasant because it's completely paved. There are even some scenic bridges along the way. There's a river and a few bodies of water before you reach the actual waterfall. It's a pleasant walk itself, and I kind of wish I stayed longer in this area, and maybe even flew my drone here since they're actually banned at the waterfall area. Cafe. So as you can see, there are quite a lot of bridges. Behind this bridge is actually a smaller waterfall, so it's scenic as mentioned, although if you're afraid of heights you may not want to take this route because it does extend over quite a large body of water. Near the waterfall itself, there is actually some places to grab some food and eat, and you can eat while having a view of the waterfall. So after around 15 minutes of walking, we reached the waterfall itself. You could see it here from a distance. It's quite a pleasant view, but as mentioned, they don't allow drones here. I was planning to fly the drone from the opposite side, but there's also viewing platforms and signs there that was prohibiting that as well. So sadly, you'll have to settle for some normal camera shots here. As you can see, there's quite a nice area to sit and grab some snacks and watch the waterfall. We hurried up and went back to Shifen though, just because we wanted to see the sunset in the area. So was the waterfall worth it? In my opinion, if you've seen waterfalls before and you aren't as enthused about them, perhaps skip that and spend more time in Shifen itself. But if you're into waterfalls, then it is quite a nice area, and then there's also some places to eat and spend some more time watching it. One thing nice I noticed about our itinerary here is I think most people do this in reverse. So they go to Shifen in the morning, and then they go to Jofen in the evening to see the lanterns at night. So the way it worked out with our itinerary, it was less busy in both places when we visited. Although of course they're both major destinations, so there were tons of tourists in each place. As it gets darker, you'll notice an increasing amount of lanterns being launched. This was between 5 and 6, and it was probably the peak time. Near the station, there are some places to grab some food as well. We ended up trying this drink, which was similar to lemon. I enjoyed it. It was pretty refreshing after a long walk. And for food, we got this fried dish. Not exactly sure the name, but I think it was made of some chicken and some squid. So after killing some time, we were waiting for it to get dark enough to launch our lantern. We went to the side here, and as you can see, you can pay one of the lantern attendees and you can launch your own lantern. What's interesting is you can actually pay for a upgraded lantern, so it depends on how many colors the lanterns have. The more colors it has, the more you have to pay, but the more types of wishes you can make. We are working on our lanterns here and putting some wishes. What's crazy is that while you're working on lanterns, this is actually an active railroad track, and I had no idea because we hadn't seen a train pass by while we were there earlier. Anyways, after we completed the lantern and dodged the train, we were able to launch it out into the night. We had just had a snack earlier, so we were still hungry, and we went looking for another restaurant around this time. But interestingly enough, even though it wasn't that late, there weren't many restaurants open because some of them had started to close already. You can see here there are some more people making lanterns. The entire town area is probably 1 kilometer long, and you can make lanterns throughout the length of it. You can see here we're trying to find another restaurant. There were a few that looked good, but unfortunately they had already taken the last order. Apparently this is an active train station, as evident by the train passing by, and you can take a train here to other stations. This is the Shifen train station. One common path is actually to take a train to Ruifang station, and from there you can actually go to downtown Taipei. We settled on this place, which serves some soup, but honestly it was terrible and I would not recommend it. After that, we wrapped up and decided to go back to Taipei since we still had some time. In our next video, we explore the Xinyi district. If you made it to the end, thanks for watching the video, and we'll have the next part out soon. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing as we plan to have some more travel videos up soon.